Halloween is one of my favorite holidays, not because I like to dress up, but because I love to decorate. Check out this awesome Halloween garland that I made. You know, we always decorate the mantle at Christmas. Why not at Halloween? It's super easy to make too. I tell you what, I just kind of went crazy coming up with all these different shapes, the pumpkin, the bat, the crosses, the ghosts. I love it. The boo. I just love it all. Okay. Super easy, and here's how you're going to do it. First of all, you want to print out the supply list because you need a few things, not a lot, and probably most of them you already have at home. So let's start with the pumpkin because the technique for the pumpkin is the same for all of the little stuffed creatures that you see. And here is where I got some of my ideas. I love this book. It's called Halloween Tricks and Treats, and it's by Matthew Mead. Now, I got the ideas for some of the shapes in the book. That's all, okay? The rest of it, got right here. So first of all, you're going to take some felt. We're going to start with the pumpkins and do some orange felt. And I cut 2 pieces, 2 squares, and put them together. Now, if you're not comfortable just kind of free-forming with a pumpkin or cutting, then you might want to just find a pattern and draw it out with a pencil before you start cutting. But you know what? I'm just kind of free flow here. And I just think about a pumpkin and the odd shapes that they come in, and some of them I made really big, and some of them I made really small. Okay, so you're going to do something like that, and you're going to end up, well, that's a funky pumpkin. Anyway, you're going to end up with 2 pieces that match exactly. Once you do that, okay, we do this. They're going to look like that, and then what you're going to do is you're going to glue on, you're going to cut out a little stem like I did here, and then you're going to glue on the elements like the eyes and the mouth. And you know what I do? When I was using the black felt, I just saved the leftover pieces, and then they're all different shapes and everything. So I glued them on because the next thing you're going to do is stitch them on. And the stitching isn't to keep them in place. It's just for the effect. I mean, check this out. Look at how adorable that is. See how all those little funky stitches in there? I mean, no rhyme or reason, just, you know, just do whatever. But I want it that way. I did that on purpose. What you're going to do is stitch all the way around. And I even stitched across the bottom of the pumpkin there. But you want to leave a gap about this wide, okay? Because what you're going to do is I am using some of this. It's called bamboo fiber. You can even use cotton balls if you don't have any fiber fill. But I love this because actually it feels like cotton balls. But it's nice and soft and it's smushable. That's a technical term. Smushable so that you can stick it in like really small areas in, you know, whatever design that you're making. So I love that. So you're going to stuff your pumpkin and then you're just going to finish stitching it all the way around. And you do the same technique for any of those elements, for the pumpkin, the bat, the cross, whatever. Okay, but the spider is a little bit different. I want to show you real quick how to do that. So you start with a spider body, and I used the black felt. You can use black sparkly felt. Cut out, again, 2 shapes that are exactly the same. And I'm going to lay this out on my table and open them up, and then I'm going to take some pipe cleaner, black pipe cleaner, and I'm going to make some legs, okay? Spiders have a whole bunch of legs, so you can do as many legs as you can fit in the body. And here I just cut 3 of them, and you want to curl the ends like this to make them look like feet, okay? But here, before you stitch anything, here's what you need to do. So I'm going to lay the body of my pumpkin here, and this is something that, you know, you can't do, you don't want the kids to do. So you're just going to put a little strip of hot glue there, and then you're going to lay your spider's feet, that's another technical term, on the body. Okay? Just like that. Let it dry before you put the other piece on, because if you don't, they'll stick together and you can't stuff it. So once this dries, you lay the other piece on top, and you do the same thing. You stitch all the way around, but leave an opening at the bottom so that you can stuff your spider, and then finish stitching him up. Now, when you use different types of floss, you know, get creative with the colors. I used purple floss for the spider, and I used different colors of gold and orange and things like that for different elements. So you can go ahead and bend his legs down, just like that. because it is a pipe cleaner. You can pretty much do whatever you like. This is a funky looking spider. Okay, so his spider legs look like that. Adorable. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, now I want to show you how to make the ghost. This is the most important element that you will need in order to make the ghost. It's fabric stiffener. Now, you can find it at the craft store. I even looked online to see if I could make my own, but you know what? It's just too complicated. It's just easier to buy it. You're going to need some cheesecloth too, and a little bucket to work over. So what you want to do is just take a little square of cheesecloth. Depending on how big you want your ghost to be, this is about the size I'm going to use in order to make my ghost. And basically, I just crumble it all up. And whoops, got to make sure I get that later. And I just pour the stiffy right into the cheesecloth. I only want as much as I need because if I pour it in a bowl, I feel like to me that's being wasteful. So, okay, so this is where you're going to get messy. And this is where the kids will love to participate, of course. Okay. You definitely want to work on a surface that you can easily pull off the ghost once it dries. So you just pull it apart like this. And you could try wax paper. I'm pretty sure wax paper will work too. And maybe just to be double sure, you can even spray it with some cooking oil or something to, make sure that you can peel the wax paper off. And just kind of pull it out here a little bit and lay it right on your table or your mat or whatever it is you're working off of, and try and open it up as much as you can. Now, what do you do from here? I have no idea. You just free form it. And I just kind of move it around until I get the shape that I like. And my ghost is spooky and scary, so I've got things hanging like this, and he's floating in the air. And just move it around. You make the little head, the arms, the body, and you put it in the position that you like until you love it, like that, okay? Do you see that? Then you have to let this dry. Depending on where you live, it might take overnight for it to be completely stiff. So let me show you what it's going to look like here. Let's put this one right here. I put this one on last night because when it's dry, look at this. Just peel it off. Look at that. How cute is that? Love this, love this, love this. Now, this is a pretty big one. You can make them as big or as little as you want, but what I was thinking is you could take a whole bunch of big ones, like I made this big one here, and you can use like a sticky dot and tape them in the window. I think that would be really cool. And then you just cut out some felt with the eyes to make the eyes in the mouth, and you're done with your ghost. Now, a couple of other elements in the garland. The boo. The boo is a glow-in-the-dark boo. And how did I get it that way? I am using textured glow-in-the-dark paint. This is really super thick. Let me show you. Okay, it's like a paste. And I just put it on with a paintbrush. I just kind of dabbed it on, and I did a couple of layers. Because the more I put on, the more it glows in the dark. Let me tell you, it really does glow. Look at that. Ooh, it's spooky, isn't it? Gotta love that. And another element that I used, because you can use anything, you could find things in the store if you have things from the dollar store, things that you can hang on there. I just found this wood cutout, and I painted it black and then put some more textured paint on the skull or on the crossbones there. So, you know what? You can pretty much do whatever you like. I hung it with this garland. Actually, I made the garland. It's fun fur. It's just yarn. It's by Lion Brand, and it's called Fun Fur. I used it in black, and I hung all of the elements with fishing line. But in order to make the garland, just so you know, because see how thin this is right here? I just did a whole bunch of layers, just like this, but really long to thicken up. Here, I'll put it right down here so you can see. To thicken it up, and then I would tie it in a knot to keep them all together. And it makes this spooky, fun, little furry garland that you can hang anywhere you like. I hung mine on the mantle, and you know what? When everybody comes in, they go, "Ooh, Terry, you're so spooky."